Now tonight at WHAS 11 News investigation. The scary reality, it could happen anywhere. But how would police respond if it were to happen right here? Our Focus investigator Shay McAllister and chief photojournalist Philip Merle went to our area's top police leaders to find out.
It was the last week of class inside Robb Elementary School. Classrooms filled with kids, hallways empty, as seen here on school surveillance video. And then a shooter opens fire, and the halls are filled with police. They head towards the classroom, but then they run back after the gunman shoots at the door.
That's scary, but that's what we're paid to do.
Within 30 minutes, officers with rifles and shields are on scene, but none of them walk towards the classroom, according to the video. None of the 350 officers enter the classroom where children were being killed for 70 minutes.
I don't have all the facts. I don't know everything that happened, but from what I've read, there were a lot of mistakes made, and I just want our principals to know that we are prepared. We will not make those mistakes.
Jeffersontown Chief of Police Rick Sanders says he had this conversation with his officers.
And they're prepared to risk their lives to save the lives of others.
Briefing them on policy.
If there's an active shooter, I don't care if it's one officer, 2 officers, or 50 officers, we're going to attack that threat.
And to ensure everyone is on the same page, he says he met with J-Town school leaders, working through concerns such as access to classroom doors.
And the one thing I want everyone to understand is that if there's an active shooter in a school, we are gonna launch. We are going to attack that threat. We're not going to stand by and let that happen.
Across town, St. Matthews Chief Barry Wilkerson says his team has been reviewing emergency response plans for the area's schools, daycares, and after-school programs, learning access points and possible hurdles.
We know they're killing our kids, and that's hugely important to us. We can't let that happen, and that's why we train and respond the way we do. It's sad that it takes sometimes tragedies to get us pointed in the right direction.
The Clark County Sheriff's Office just recently took their training to a local elementary school. After watching the Uvalde videos,
there was quite a bit of information that we were able to look at and say, you know, maybe we want to go a different path when we show up.
As I'm doing my VTA, my threat assessment,
they focused in on what they call the fatal funnel, the moments when an officer must breach the classroom door.
You're going through the funnel, the shooter knows you're coming through it, pretty good chance you're going to get shot. So training on how we can get through that door more efficiently, give our officers a better leg up when they're in a gunfight.
All right, next, let's go.
Because he says not going through the door is not an option.
There's only going to be 2 outcomes when we get here. Either I die or he dies. If you're actively shooting kids, there's only going to be 2 outcomes, and we're not going to stop until we get to that outcome.
And if there's an active shooter in one of our schools,
if that comes out, everyone is coming.
LMPD's Lieutenant Colonel Steve Healy says there will be no questions on who's in command.
We're not going to sit around and discuss while there are gunshots and people dying. Our people are going to go in.
He says ongoing staffing shortages have forced his department to make changes to policy.
Before, when we didn't have the manpower issue, we recommended 4 people to go in when possible, and that's what our training manual says. Now, we're short. You have to go in.
And he says they do require officers to enter alone, but that's a big ask. So they're better equipping the team with new door breaching tools, new ballistic panel plates, and new rifles for every patrol officer.
Our officers need to not show up and be outgunned. So the patrol rifles are going to put us on a good level field.
Should the unthinkable happen in our community, our police tell us they're ready to respond.
We're going to protect your kids at all costs.
In Louisville, Shay McAllister, WHAS 11, on your side.
The stark reality for us all tonight, unfortunately, and our Focus team has also gotten an inside look at the deputies training program for mass school shootings and investigated the hurdles that JCPS is facing with its current safety plan. Head to our Focus page. It's on WHAS11.com to view those reports.